What's up, guys? Good morning. All right, so yeah, man, CRON, that thing really took off yesterday. It had this crazy push about midday yesterday, as well as the other cannabis stocks, I think. What's up, Abby? We're here. Look at CGC, man. CGC took off too midday yesterday. Uh, that makes sense. What's up, Two Way? What's up, brother? Yeah, I like DOS's as well. Mitch, I sent you the invite, brother, if you're ready to join. But yeah, so watching CGC here, had the perfect fade yesterday. I was able to take advantage of this beautiful fade right here. It ended up spiking up yesterday. I'm glad I didn't take that one up here. But we also have AMD. Doesn't look too shabby here. Gonna watch this one for a potential washout at this point. It's been fading almost every single day. Um, and so I'm gonna look to take advantage of it today as well if it sets up for me. Raybo saying he can't hear me. Can everybody hear me? Is the volume okay? There you go, Mitch. All right, we got Mitch here, guys.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo. What's up, man?
Yo, yo, what's the deal?
What's up, man?
What's up, big dog?
All right, so watching the cannabis plays.
Yo. Hey, like I was talking about it yesterday, guys. I put it out there that the daily charts just really seemed to show a really good flag, and all it needed was some potential to start breaking it out of the bottom support. And as you saw in Cron, some big volume came in after a pretty good VWAP fade. This is how you can tell that it's probably smart money. By smart money, I mean investors, not retail investors.
Right.
And so when you see millions of shares just kind of dump into a stock, that's definitely going to be a sign that investors are really getting interested in this stock, as the daily chart shows great potential. And now that we got the farm bill to pass, we now have a catalyst. With Cron, you even got a catalyst of, I heard out there that Marlboro has a potential bid out for them. I'm not too 100% sure on this. I got to do a little more research on it. But if this is true, even though it could be just fluff, whenever a small penny stock company ties themselves with a bigger company, like let's say there used to be a company that tied themselves with Apple. It was a chipset company. I forgot the name of it, but they were able to tie themselves with Apple. And just because of that, they ran, I forgot what it was, something like 200%. So whenever you can tie yourself with one of the big name stocks or a big name company, like let's say Marlboro in this instance for Cron, of course, investors are going to go ahead and take a look at this, because if they're going to go ahead and take over their business, they should be able to at least bring it up to a good level. These are companies that are established and definitely have great reach, great resources, marketing, and can help out any company at this kind of capitalization.
Yeah, for sure. It's. I think. I think Yeah, so everything's fine. Okay, good. Yeah, the volume. Everybody else is saying the volume's fine, Ray. So it is probably your side.
Yeah, I'll try to bring my mic a little closer, but
No, I mean I think everybody's saying it's okay. Yeah, I mean I think that cannabis will be legal eventually. It's inevitable at this point. No
it's a
matter
matter of
how
time.
Right, no matter how conservative the state is, cannabis is going to be legal statewide, especially on the federal level, most likely within 2 years,
Yeah,
hopefully.
I mean, from my research, I've always seen that the only reason we haven't gotten that extreme push towards nationwide legalization in the United States is because of the tobacco companies, is because of the big guys in the tobacco companies kind of keeping their market share. Nobody wants to get their market share taken underneath them.
I don't think it's tobacco more. I think it's alcohol, and I think it's big alcohol companies, and I think it's big private prison companies. I think those are the number two big corporations that are essentially lobbying to keep it illegal.
I mean,
Um,
essentially, there's a lot of industries that are going to take a market share hit, and that's really what happens when you get a kind of a new commodity or a new asset, underlying asset here, guys. Really have the potential to make money with this underlining asset. So what's going on is it's as simple as, hey, it's kind of like an innovation that came out, but it's an innovation that's been around for thousands and thousands of years. Now the commodity is being able to be purchased and used, and so that's really what's changed here, guys, is that now you can actually tie a market value to this. And by tying a market value, we're going to be able to really see which stocks can, take advantage of that value that's out there.
Yeah, Ronald's asking, are they going to trade live? Yeah, man, we'll trade live. I mean, we're just waiting for the market to actually open. We have about
Yep.
30 minutes for the market to open up. We trade live every day, at least one of us does. And so, yeah, we're gonna trade live.
I'm looking forward. I'm probably going to be putting out a video, guys, later today, if not tonight, on kind of trading setups. I think John and I have some pretty good advanced setups. So I'm going to get with him. I'm going to make a video on mine and get with him so he can show you guys his setups. So that way you guys can learn a little bit about trading setups. I know
Right.
it's something that a lot of traders have out there. They have questions. Do I need 30 screens? Do I need different computers, stuff like that? And these are, relatively beginner questions, but there's nothing like having the ability to get the setup that you need. You know, when I first started trading, I used to use SureTrader, and I had a computer with an i3. I had a small screen, and I thought it would be okay for me to get another monitor, attach it, and have a setup with a two monitor setup. What ended up happening was the monitor ended up drawing too much memory and CPU usage, which ended up causing my shirt trader platform to freeze. These,
Yeah.
these are the kind of small problems that you can run into if you don't have the right setup. And that's why I'm going to go ahead and put out a cool video on how to create one of the ultimate trading setups.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think trading, it's kind of one of those things. Like I have three monitors at this point, and I love my monitors, but I think I put a video out a long time ago talking about like if you're a brand new trader, you know, you don't need to be worrying about monitors right now. Learn to trade a little bit first, and then move on once you
Exactly.
get a good grasp of it. Because if not, you're just gonna have two monitors for no reason.
Yeah, and it's about being comfortable also. A lot of traders don't realize that it's not just about having the best setup, because something so intricate can actually confuse you. You have to be comfortable with your setup. You have to know how to work it. Some people get very overwhelmed in trading, so if you're that kind of trader, you might want to make things more simple. But let's get back to stocks today.
Yep, yep.
Definitely seeing Kron show a little bit of weakness now, guys. Kind of made a huge eruption yesterday at around 12. Um, As you guys can see, more than 1.5 million shares came through on those ramp ups. It went from about 855 all the way up to on the first ramp up to about 1080, then followed through with a second ramp up there to 1189. This stock definitely went through that level. The important level for this stock was going to be if it could break 11 this morning, and at 605 or 640s, it broke 11, made another run up there to those 1177s, trying to break out to that 89 and that $12. Now we've kind of pulled back and essentially gone back all the way down to that 11 price that we talked about. Very important because it's the ramp up of yesterday. It's kind of like that first ramp move. So we needed to hold that level for it to be in that nice bullish sense. Below this level, it can move down below 1079 and kind of crack down a little bit more into the range that it was after 1 p.m. yesterday.
Yep. I think this one's going to be interesting to watch today. I know Eric's been talking a lot about these. And what was the catalyst for a lot of these? Oh, yeah, the big investment. Like I said, man, I think cannabis is going to be legalized, at least on a federal level. It's an inevitability. And now when that's going to happen is kind of the big thing. I'm sure investors are trying to guess, just so they can get in good with some of these. I think TLRY, CGC have some of the better chances of success, but like I said, I'm not 100% sure. I know there's other CBD stocks like NBEV, Cron, another cannabis stock, ACB, probably the cheapest one that we can trade. So there's some options to trade them, but it's just about, do I trust that all of these are going to be up in a few years? I don't know. Thoughts on using an offshore broker to be able to, say, trade more than 25K? I mean, it's all up to you, man. It's all subjective. It just depends on what you want. All the offshore brokers are going to be a little shady. I mean, that's just kind of what they do. That's why they're offshore. And so
yeah, it's part of it. If you want to trade and you want to trade with less than 25,000, it's what we call the necessary evils.
Right.
What you got to do is find a broker or a platform that has some strength that you find you can use. They're all going to have me and John talk about this consistently, that every broker and every platform is going to have a negative. There's no one perfect platform. There's no one perfect broker. So what I always say is focus on the positives of the broker and the strengths that you can use to make money. Now, if you focus on the negatives, all it's going to do is just create emotional reactions to the platform or broker, and you're not going to be able to get outside of the weakness and use the strength of the broker. In our case, Tefs has a great strength. We can short anything that's tradable, and we also can get great market fills.
Right. I mean, cons are a lot of stocks aren't tradable. That's probably my biggest pet peeve about Tefs and TradeNet is that some stocks aren't tradable. But like we said, every broker has their pros and cons. Yesterday, we were talking about EU stock trade. Good for only long traders, but really cheap commissions and fast deposits. Not the best fills, but they're all right. They're not terrible, I guess.
It's 100% right. Necessary evils is what it is.
Right. They all do it. Like, there's not one that's worse than another for the most part. Like, they're all shady.
It's like going through your local sports bookie. You don't want to go to your local sports bookie, but until sports gambling is legal,
it's kind of what you got to do.
It's what you got to do. Necessary evils if you want to play the game.
Right. Interactive Brokers, that's a U.S.-based broker. They're not bad. I've heard good things about them.
Do you not get monitored by the government when you're with the overseas? I I'm not going to tell you you're not, because I mean anybody can be monitored by the IRS and
Right.
such things like that. Now, there's always what we call kind of minimum capital requirements. The IRS isn't really trying to tackle anyone down that's making a couple thousands here and there. They're more worried about big tax fraud. Now, I'm not going to say that that you're not going to get reviewed, but you just gotta always have to take your capital and understand your tax laws. I would, if you do start, pulling profits from your kind of broker accounts that are offshore, definitely get yourself a IRS specialist or an accountant that knows how to do offshore investments so that they can keep the maximum money for you, and you actually not going to have to worry about the IRS coming after you, because you have an expert that submits your kind of tax forms, and the expert is kind of what's up. His name is on the liability, and that way you can, you don't have to worry about the IRS issues or tax issues.
Right.
Definitely always recommend getting a professional once you actually start pulling that profit.
Right, for sure. Get a CA
Yeah, it's just what's needed.
or a PA, sorry. MRNS.
Yeah, mRNS is definitely on the watch list. The only problem with it, it's not tradable.
Yeah.
So I definitely saw it. It's one of my definitely stocks to trade. Another one that I'm looking at, guys, is IMMU. This one's actually tradable. I'm going to be watching this one as it's made a move up to 25 about 3 times. Now has come down and doing a little bounce today. We're going to see if it's going to turn around and flush down through those 20s. On Cron, I'm seeing a kind of a big cup and handle pattern on the 15-minute chart. I'm going to be paying attention to this, kind of see if we get this curve effect towards the open. If we get this curve effect towards the open, it kind of will really fulfill that kind of U pattern, then a little handle to come and break it out.
Sorry, man. I'm drinking my coffee.
Oh, you're good, brother.
Yeah, man. Kron's getting a lot of volume in pre-market. I will say that, some levels to draw out for that one for sure. NVLN. I wish I could kind of trade NVLN, but it's not tradable as well. So I'll probably watch AMD, the cannabis stocks. What else? Maybe IQ again. See what that one does. NBEV, CLVS. There's a few.
Yeah. Abe talking about here, IMMU, isn't the volume too low to trade? One of the key things that I like to do is, the volume in this pre-market isn't as high. There is some kind of hidden volume that came in right before the close. There was 342,000 shares that came in right before the close at 3:30 yesterday. And that's kind of the levels that I'm going off of. This is a stock that doesn't trade much pre-market, but has over like 12 million shares when it opens.
Right, there's a few stocks that do this.
Yeah, they don't move much, but the intraday volume is going to be there. It's going to be in the millions. We're going to have the liquidity there. The real key is to
hold it down, brother. I'll be right back.
Got you. The real key to a stock like this, IMMU, would be that to let the open actually happen. Let the first 5 minute go, let the opening range kind of break down or break out, and then you can look for a position. One of those that you want to see the move happen, then react to it. Let's see if Cron can really hold these 11s here. It's getting interesting there. There you go, holding those 11s. It's looking like a nice cup and handle there, guys. All right, guys. One of the key things I'm going to be looking at today is going to be watching to see what happens with Kron. If Kron has a tendency of breaking out, I'm going to keep a close eye on CGC and TLRY as they are the leaders in this industry, and going to be looking to see if they can kind of turn up the volume, can find some kind of strength in here, and we can start making moves towards resistance.
All right, I'm back.
LEVB. Well, let me see what this is. Hey, you guys saw yesterday my VIPS trade pretty much dead on. It came down to 55s. I was saying 50s. Hey, not too off there. Daily chart went it all the way back down.
Yeah, man, that was an all-day fade for sure.
Yep.
TNXP is on the list. It's gapping down again. TMF is gapping up some.
All right. LEVB looks good. It has a nice I can see kind of a pennant forming here, pennant flag. We've gotten that one run, a second run to that 550, kind of started holding. We needed to get above 526s for it to start curling to do a breakout over 550s. On the downside, we wanted to break actually a little bit lower. We wanted to break 490s, make a move towards 469, and then you could look for a view at fade. It isn't tradable on tests, but definitely a stock to watch as the pre-market chart looks very, let's say, enticing.
Yeah, look at NBEV, man. That one's getting hit pretty hard. It's one of the CBD drink companies, and
definitely gonna keep an eye on that one.
it's starting to tank here. It's at 488. We'll see where that goes. Just to pull it up here. We can trade it too.
Kron holding that U pattern. It's really looking like a cup and handle. It's held strength again at 11. So that 11 price point is going to be very key towards the open.
Yeah, for sure. Curious here to see where these go.
It's going to be an exciting one. Let's do it.
That's possible, Cass. OGEN, man. I mean, OGEN, we've always referred to it. And Brogen. I mean, this thing just always fails is what I typically look for. Like, look at the daily chart. Wow. Every single time this one spikes, it fails. Like, look, I can draw an arrow and show you.
Bro, it always comes through.
Right. Like, look at it. Every single time it spikes, it fails. Like, literally every single time. You know, it never holds any of its gains. And it's always within, like, 2 days. It's right back down. And so, you know, shorters are just watching this thing if they can short it. And I'm sure it's probably restricted, honestly. But it just never makes it.
Yeah, this is one that the shorts, even to, like, buy the shorts, to borrow the shorts, they go immediately.
Right. Like, look at this. Like,
traders are just like, whoa, hold on.
This is up. Let me short it, you know? And that's just, like, you could just see the daily chart. It's kind of like, you know, if you can short it, it's like gold because, I mean, it just always comes back down. Even this latest move.
2, 3, 4, 5 times. Even if it goes up once out of those 5 times, we all know that risk to reward is there.
Right, for sure. And you know, even if it pushes up on this move, I mean, every single time. It's just one of those stocks that I look at and I was like, man, I wish I could short that stock, but I just can't. Starbucks, I could check it. What's the catalyst for Starbucks? I'll have to look the news up. Yeah, it had a few little VWAP bounces yesterday. Not too bad. Let's see the daily chart. It's up a lot. Starbucks is up a lot in the last, last few weeks.
Yeah, since pretty much June.
Yeah, last few months. I mean, yeah. I mean, I want to say I'm short biased, but who knows, man? Starbucks is a healthy company, you know.
Yeah, I would draw a trend line from that kind of daily chart, and you see it run straight across, guys. Kind of a flag. You get that one resistance, two resistance, three resistance touch yesterday, up there to like that 68. So essentially, you need it above 68 for it to be on that long side, looking for a breakout through the 70s. And on the short side, I would want to see this break down through that kind of 66.34 level. And then this could start breaking down through that 65.25 support, heading down to fill the gap down.
Yeah, for sure. And somebody asked me about AETI. To be honest, it kind of looks like another OG. And I mean, I think it'll probably come down some today. I have no idea. You never know in the market. Nothing's 100%. This thing could go to the moon, but just looking at the daily chart, I'm definitely more short biased with it. Maybe it'll spike up a little bit at first and then reverse and have a down red day today, is what I think. But who knows, man?
Going to be an interesting one to watch is your new favorite, AMD.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been watching that one every day. One thing I'm noticing about it is that anytime it spikes up a lot, it bounces at the open. Like, look, yesterday it VWAP bounced here and here, and then
Yeah, the bounce.
days when it washes out, it fades. And so you can see the day before that it washed out, faded nicely. Day before that, faded nicely.
Yeah, the VWAP
Day
bounce was
before that,
pretty on it yesterday.
yeah, for sure. It was really nice. And then days when it pushes up, it bounces again. So it's been one of the more reliable ones lately. So we'll see what we get.
All right, get into that news o'clock hour.
Yeah, yeah. All right, here. All
All
right,
right.
so we're gonna look at the cannabis stocks. Go ahead and look up those. Um, pull some of the news for these, trying to see what's going on with it. Probably look up Cron. It's probably moving the most.
BBY. Sounds like I'm looking at Craigslist.
Cron.
Best Buy. Best Buy with the Slack.
Yeah, so CRON confirmed discussions with Altria, and that's what's making the shares jump. Concerning a quote unquote concerning a potential investment by Altria Group Inc. The parent company of Marlboro has offered to purchase the marijuana producer in order to diversify its business away from tobacco. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I love that one. To take it away from tobacco. No, it's so that it doesn't take yours.
right, man. They're trying to acquire it too. I mean, honestly, if they do try to do that, they're honestly just fighting the inevitable here. If they were smart, I think they would try to at least be involved in it, not try to just push it to fail, but try to be involved in it because it's like I said earlier, it's an inevitability. It's gonna happen no matter what people try to do, no matter what your views on it. It's eventually going to happen, and I think if you're being objective and look at it, like looking at the past few years, like it's gonna be legal federally, probably within the next 3 years. But yeah, that's why the cannabis stocks are up. We'll see CGC as well. I think CGC is probably saying similar stuff. I think I went and talked to all the different ones. Yes, the CGC. Dixie Brands. I mean, I think that the cannabis stocks are up. One of the cannabis CEOs said, "quote unquote," "I'm going to predict that there will be a form of federal legalization in this country in the next 18 months." Chuck Smith, CEO of cannabis edibles distributor Dixie Brands. And so, yeah, I kind of agree with him. It's going to be legal to some extent on the federal level within a few years. So we can look at a few other ones here. LEVB is gapping up. I can't trade it, but I'll still look and see what's going on with it. Let's see. All right, so LEVB is up after a deal to buy the CBD brand owner for $119.9 million worth of stock. So yeah, LEVB is trying to buy Cure Based Development LLC, which is a CBD company valued at 119.85 million. It's a two-step merger, and the deal includes 15,525,000 shares of Level Brand stocks valued at 59.9 million. Yeah, so they're acquiring a CBD company, is what LEVB is doing. NVLN is another one that we can't trade, but that's gapping up nicely here. It's currently at $1.38, gapping up from 98 cents. We can look the news up on this one as well. Shareholder recommendation to quote unquote explore all strategic alternatives is what happened with this one.
What's going to be interesting, I think, to watch, guys, is I'm going to be really keeping a close eye on Altria, the tobacco company trying to buy Kron. It's not only Marlboro that they own multiple product lines of cigarettes. I know this because they uh, come into my place of business actually consistently. They're definitely one of the biggest out there. And one of the key things is cigarette companies have been getting hit really big with regulation. One of the key new things is, I don't know if you guys seen packs of cigarettes, at least for Florida, they got a new court order that they have to put this new, like, kind of, it's like a 1x3 kind of paper insert on the back of cigarettes telling you that they're doing a special way of kind of getting you nicotine derivatives, and that's why they're so addicting. Now the market share is down, the lowest it's ever been for the United States. It now only measures 14% of adults, the lowest ever. So what does this mean, guys? This means that at the end of the day, tobacco companies are coming down. Why? Because of lower smoking rates in the United States. This can be actually something that's been going on in the whole, kind of earth. Everyone's just kind of coming down from cigarette smoking. A lot of what's coming up is, I don't know if you guys heard of Juuls, electronic cigarettes really taking over. And then with the addition of, cannabis coming into the market, definitely these are the companies that are what we would call at risk. At risk are the top tobacco companies and top alcohol companies. And that's why they're trying to start getting their foot inside of these deals.
Yep, for sure. And I mean, it's ironic if you think about it, but it's one of those things that it's going to be inevitable, man. Like, a smart person, like, if I was a fundamental investor, I would look for the healthiest cannabis company at this point and probably invest in them. You never know. I could be wrong, but that's just kind of my take on it. I don't think there's really anything wrong with weed. I think that you should be over 21 to use it for sure. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with it. I think it actually works in an interesting way. Like, when you're not smoking cannabis, your brain is constantly analyzing the environment, trying to figure out what's significant enough to save in memory locations in your brain. And so, your brain can't really be as creative as it can. For instance, like, if you're using cannabis, your brain's not scanning the environment, looking for important things to save in memory locations. And so it allows your brain to actually wander more and be more creative. And that's why musicians like smoking cannabis. That's why writers like smoking cannabis, is because it actually, studies have shown it does make you more creative, but it's also why it causes short-term memory losses, because your brain's not scanning, looking for significant thoughts to save in its memory locations in your brain. And so it's a really interesting thing here. I've done projects on it, but it's inevitable that it's going to become legal eventually on a federal level. We could just get Texas to move it along here, All right, guys, we got 3.5 minutes. Let's just start getting ready. I'm also looking at CLVS, Mitch. CLVS is gapping up. It had a big red day yesterday.
Yeah, I'm gonna be interested. I'm reading more and more. One of the key things is at the end of the day, the market as a whole, it seems like um, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it really seems like inflation is starting to hit. Inflation is really a kind of a key sign to show you guys that the bull market might be slowing down. You know, Armageddon might be on its way, guys.
Well, John O, I don't think it's permanent. I don't think it's long lasting. I think that it's only when you're smoking, like you're not going to remember stuff as well if you're on it. You know what I mean? But after you stop, I don't think it affects that. But I don't know, honestly. I'm not a doctor or anything like that. It's all just speculative, I guess.
Yep, 100%. At the end of the day, this country has been held back from doing research for way too long, and that's really where it's going to come into. Also, with legalization comes a lot more research, a lot more uh, kind of testing that can be done for the long-term effects of marijuana.
Definitely. A and Y popping up on the scanners, man. That one was moving last week. It's still not moving that much. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes left. Let's find some stuff and get ready.
Right.
I wish I could trade AETI. I mean, it's moving a lot. I think it would probably be a good short today, but I don't think it's actually tradable for me. No, it's not, unfortunately. But we have some options here, definitely, for sure. CGC getting hit as well. NBEV bouncing a little bit at that previous low. So we got about a minute left, guys. Yep, yep. Hey, congrats, John. That's big, man. That's big. Congrats, brother. Uh, I don't know. I never got the web platform to work, Ruckus. I never really got that one to work, man. Like I use the
No,
pro platform, but I
yeah.
don't.
You can download it. You're just gonna have a 20-minute delay. For
Right.
the free version, you'll still have it. You can download the kind of the data, and you got to sign some contracts, but you can get kind of essentially free data, just 20 minutes delayed, and then that way you can get it. I think it's something that you
Here's the
can
bell,
use if you're ready for it.
for sure.
It's something that is expensive. You don't always want to be paying for trade ideas, especially if you're not really kind of trading. If you're just in the learning sense, it might not be the best use.
All right, so we got CRON moving some, AMD
And
tanking here.
AMD looking
Yeah,
nice.
watching it. AMD falling some. We have NBEV dropping, Cron dropping some, NIO spiking up. Oh, sorry guys. Let me put the intraday scanners up here. Cron dropping, AMD dropping, NBEV dropping. So interesting here. We'll see where these go. CLVS is pushing up. CLVS. I actually like to let this first move happen first and get in a little bit longer term fades. I think AMD's kind of at the VWAP, but I think that it's a little too early. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll give it a little bit of time here. Hey, maybe I was right, man. I mean, there goes the fade, but
Yeah, it was interesting there at the 30s. But I think there wasn't that much there either. It
right.
was 10-cent risk, like 11-cent profit.
I think it's just too risky.
Yeah, risk to reward there,
Right.
not as prominent as it could be.
Right, for sure. I mean, NBEV is up right now. The risk to reward is pretty tight here, actually. But I think the accuracy is probably low. I think it looks like a washout long, but we'll see. But risk reward is pretty tight right there, honestly, especially with the $5 area as well. ACB dropping some. Yeah, but I've been noticing I've been actually having better results with like waiting for the first few minutes to pass. Like I've been trading a lot around like 9:40, 9:45, and I've been having pretty good results then. Nice, Troy. Nice, Pat. Good work, brothers. ACB, not enough volume. CLVS running up some. SRAX popping up on my scanners and BRX as well. AMD continuing to fade down.
Yeah, I think that second bounce wasn't a bad attempt. When it rejected 2340s, you could have got short there at 2330s, risking off of those two levels that went up there, those two extremes.
Right.
Wasn't a bad idea. Just I was looking at some other charts. Yeah, definitely. I think that's the area to attack it there when it did that extra bounce and rejection.
For sure. Appreciate the sub, Jordy, Jocelyn, and Robbie. Appreciate it. Welcome, guys. All right, so we got NIO starting to take here. See if we get some more volume pulling in. NIO getting a big drop. I want to see a break under 750. We got Kron with a beautiful washout long here. Just kind of what I really look for with the washout long for Kron. A little too late, but we'll see if it finds support here at 11:10 or so.
Yep. All the wheat stocks looking like a little red to green move here. Red to green move for the wheat stocks. Watching CDC and TLRY to see their reactions towards the open. Let's see what happens here.
Three 5-minute candles, Danny. So you're trading opening range breakouts. It's usually the pattern I like using with 3 5-minute candles. It's just opening range trades. SFET. Yeah, look at SFET starting to run. Seriously doubt it's tradable. It had no volume prior to that, but I can check it. Yeah, it's not tradable.
Oof. AMD.
Yeah, giving it up, man.
Nope.
CLVS maybe a VWAP bounce there, but at this point, none of them have really set up to the strategies I use. And even with AMD right now, I mean, if it gets up to 22s, I could set a risk of 32s, maybe 34s. Looking for a bigger reward, though, so we'll see what we get here.
SPET going crazy.
Yeah, no, that's what we were just talking about. It's not tradable for us, but it's moving. It's SFET. You can see on the scanners, it's popping up.
It's making moves there.
All right, so with AMD, I mean, I'm watching it. The only thing with AMD here is that the risk to reward wouldn't be ideal. I think the risk would have to be at about 35, 40, and I think that the risk to reward's just not there. Unless I could give myself a tighter risk of maybe 28, I don't think would be that bad. If it fades up here, 28, yeah. Yeah, honestly, it actually is a pretty tight risk here, so I don't mind it. It's got to get up there, though. Let's see. Up to 15s, 16s. We'll see if it gets up there. 17s. Alright, I'm going to take 200 shares short here. At about 15. I don't mind. Like I said, risk is about 25 or so. Going to take half off here and let this rest 100 shares work. At this point, I'm comfortable in it. I'm looking for it to break that previous low of the day. But even if this one swings back up, I'm still okay in the trade. It already followed through with the fade some. And so I kind of have money in the bank here. I can just kind of let the remaining shares work. See if it can crack really ideally under this $23 level.
Good job, brother.
Appreciate it, man. It's down to 23.05. I want to see that crack under 23 is what I'm actually looking for. If not, I can get out for a small gain or so. Like I said, I want to see it really crack under 23. And I have 100 shares left. I don't mind scaling out slowly here, down at 23, taking another partial off here. But it's got to get down there. If not, I can get out for a break-even trade. 05s, 04s, 03s. All right, I'm going to take another partial here. And I'm just going to let the rest work. I'm looking for it to break.
Short on NIO. I need to bounce to 54, guys.
All right, there's 01s. Just going to let the rest work here, see if we can get a break under 23. If not, I've covered at the okay spots, and so I'm just going to let the rest work.
Exactly. I like the trade.
Appreciate it. Looks like it's finding some support at 23. Wants to break, but let's see if we get that big breakdown under 23 here. All right, it's down to 23.01 again. If it bounces anywhere and comes back up to the VWAP, it's going to be around here. And so I'm just going to let the rest go break even. All right, at this point, if it breaks 23.10, I'll probably jump out of it. It's built a few resistance and support areas there. There's twos. Let's see if we get a break under this $23 level. That's what I'm looking for. I don't mind letting the rest work for me here. Let's just see if we can get a break under this low of the day so it can really work for me. $23.10 is confirmed as my risk numerous times, so I like the $23.10 area as my new risk for these last little shares.
Looking at MBEV here, guys, the risk would be off of 505. Want to reject 5 again. If it goes to 5 and rejects again, I'll short it. If it's not, it should probably do a red to green move above 5.
All right, so it's consolidating a little bit under 23. I really want to see it break under 23. That's the big whole dollar level I'm watching. I'm having some up and down wicks, so it really could go either way here, but I'm watching it close. All right, it's squeezed up. I got out there for a $16 gain. It broke that risk area of 21.10. I think if it starts to reverse, it's going to reverse here, and that it did reverse at some of these points on previous charts. And so I could have added at the VWAP. I felt like just taking it off there, I guess. And so, yeah, second trade with 200 shares, just getting used to the 200 share sizing. This one ended up kind of going against me a little bit, but it's a green trade regardless. It's my 7th green trade in a row, so I'll take it. Maybe it got stopped out a little early there, but we'll see. Yeah, it looks like it got squeezed out. Not squeezed out, but stopped out there.
Yep. One of the keys is
There it
I would
goes.
suggest
Oh,
actually getting out on your break-even price, brother.
yeah, that's probably what I should have done.
100%. You rushed to get what? two
Profits, man.
dollars,
That's what I said, man. I know that's what that was my mistake last week, man.
$2, bro. You paid yourself the commission, but didn't pay yourself the risk.
Right, 100%. I can
And
acknowledge it. It's my accuracy rate has been on point, but um, I'm
don't
missing
be
out on these
worried about
moves.
it.
Right,
That's all it is. You're starting to get to the point where you got worried about the trade versus trading it. Just trade it,
right.
brother.
Well, what it is really is that like I'm on like what I haven't had a losing day in like over a week, and so it's like that's what it is. It's like I don't want to ruin my streak here. You know, I'm on like what 7 green days, 8 green days, and so I don't want to ruin my streak, man. But
Yeah.
I'm missing out on profits because of that, man. Yeah,
Yep.
for sure, 100%. I'm missing out on profits for sure. And another thing is that I've been trying to do 200 shares, and I took 200 shares with this one, and
All
so
right, guys. Short there on MBEV, guys. My out is going to be above five. Above five, guys. 7 cent risk here.
for sure. I mean, I'm happy I was able to, I'm able to be on this big green streak that I've been on in the last, week and a half or so. But I'm missing out on some profits. I'm trying to use 200 shares, so it's a process. Like I'm trying to scale up and use only 200 shares of the equivalent, depending on the range of the stock. And it's messing with my mental game a little bit. It's something I'm just gonna have to adjust to. Pros is that I actually use 200 shares. I'm trying to scale up a little bit. Cons are that I'm probably selling off a little bit too soon out of anxiety, I probably would say. And so it's a process, man. It's kind of at that stage now where I'm trying to scale up, and it's a process for sure, but missing out on some gains because of that. What's your risk on NBEV? 5?
Above it, yeah. 501. I have resistance up at 505, so that should help.
Which one? Yeah, I definitely missed out on about 20 cents there.
All right, putting out my order for first profit, guys. First profit's going to be at 480, guys. 480
Oh,
is
here,
what
let
I'm
me pull
looking
you
for.
up, brother. Sorry about that.
No stress.
Yeah, no worries, Abdul. Man, listen, brother, it's a profitable strategy. It's one we back tested. And as you can see by my trades, it definitely works. That's like the only strategy I trade. And it 100% works. Probably one of the most reliable strategies I've ever found trading stocks. Like I said, man, I'm on like a 7-day win streak. I haven't had a losing day in over a week of trading. And so it's one of those things, man, where my accuracy rate has been super high. Like, watch, I'll upload this last trade, and you can see my accuracy rate in the last 2 weeks. It's pretty high. I'm pretty proud of it, honestly. But it's also causing me to exit my positions too soon because I'm trying to hold on to that high accuracy rate, and like that's what it is. And so it's kind of shows the balance that you need to have. Looks like it's working really well for you, brother.
Yep, I'm going to pay myself here, guys. Paid myself a little bit there, guys. Now I only got 200 shares left, guys. Have $24 on this trade. Gonna hold the rest on this. Break even for right now. I don't want it above 95s here. I have a feeling that if we get this straight down to 75, I'll take some more profit there at 75. But if we get a bounce here, I gotta hold tight as that $5 breakout could be very strong. Took some profit there just to pay myself at the first support. I have $24 realized, and now I'm going to work this trade. If it gets just hammered here at the 85s or hammered here at 92s, I like that it held 490 right there as a resistance there. Let's see if it just turns around and tanks down here. Next profit would be at 75, guys. It's big sizing there at 485s, guys. 236 sizing on the bid. Gotta be careful with that bid right there at 80, 85s there. All right, gotta be careful here, guys. We rejected 490s last time. Let's see what happens at 490s again. All right, guys, above 93 is going to be my out here, guys. 1 cent above my average. Don't mind risking 1 cent. There's no need to kind of get out right there in the VWAP. I'm going to let it see if it can reject right here.
Yeah, you've already taken some profits. I think you're all right.
Yep, that's the key. AMD getting up there to that VWAP again.
Hey, appreciate the $5 dono, Abdul. Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the $5 donation, man. Yeah, of course, brother. Of course, man. You listen, man. Like I said, we only try to show people strategies that we have confirmed actually work, right? And so they all have different conditions, but I'm glad you could, you're having such good success with what we're showing people. So nice work, Abdul. Happy for you, brother. Appreciate it again.
All right, got to hold tight here, guys. I have a feeling we could get a potential squeeze if some big volume goes through that 490 level.
Yeah, I got you, Maxie. Hold on 1 second, brother. Looking for maybe a VWAP projection here, honestly. There you go.
All right, let's see it get slammed here in the 85s. Needs to just get slammed in the 85s. See a big volume go through at 85, that'll show confirmation.
It definitely doesn't look bullish, if that says anything. Just looking at the chart, it looks bearish, but
Yep.
we'll see. It got rejected at 5, came back down like under that previous high, and now it's consolidating there. So I think it looks bearish, but we'll see. Like I always say, you never really know in stocks, but this one looks bearish to me at least.
Yep, just needs to get through those 85s. Once it gets to those 85s, we'll really be looking like we can start cracking down here. All right, since it's held for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes there, guys, I'm holding towards my break-even rate now at 492. Anything above 492s, I'll get out.
I don't mind that.
Giving this stock what I call a chance. You got to give it a chance. You know, you can't make money if you get out of this stock right here. CGC, strong bounce up there to VWAP. What's going on with Kron?
I don't know. If I pull my charts up, it kind of overlaps on your screen. Hold on, I can fix that. All right, there you go. AMD, man. 3 fades again. It was one of those 3 fade days for AMD. There you go. There you go.
Putting out an order to cover the next little bit at 75s, 475s, guys.
Oh, Annihilate. This is Tef's platform that Mitch is using. I use Thinkorswim. Like, if you look at my screen here. Sorry, Mitch, just to pull this up real quick, just to show him. Like, if you look at my screen real quick, like, this is what I use. You know, like I use Tefs and TradeNet to execute my trades. I use Thinkorswim and I use Thinkorswim for charting and for time and sales. But yeah, let me pull Mitch back up. Mitch is on Tefs right now. That's the broker you see.
All right, trying to get this next support break here, guys. Through the 81s, I'll take profits. At 75, have the order out sitting.
Nice trade so far, man.
Yep. As soon as it breaks 80s, I'll put out my order for 75s.
That's what I say. A nice little rejection there. It looked bearish for sure. It's just about whether it breaks under 480 now, but it doesn't look bad for you, brother.
Yeah, you got to give it a chance. This is where people rush to profits. I'm not taking profits here at 81. I already took profits there.
Yeah, when he says people rushing about profits, he's talking about me. You know? At least my trades today. The point is, I can recognize that about myself, and that's something I really need to work on. You know, scaling up and sizing is tough, right? So when I start to use 200 shares, I see quicker profits, and it makes me want to take quicker profits. And so my accuracy rate has been high. I'm definitely not maximizing the moves. But it's been a good 30 days trading, honestly. But, you know, I'm not... I do have some holes I need to fix, you know. Yeah, I think the blue line is the moving average. I'm not sure which EMA it is.
That's a 9.
9, okay.
Those are the only two I use, 9 and the VWAP, at least for intraday charts. On daily charts, I use 200. That's all I really want to use for the daily chart. I just want to know if it's close to the moving averages or not.
The best platform for paper trading, I actually like DOS's paper trading platform.
It's the most expensive,
right?
But the realest one out there.
Right. I actually like DOS, but
the closest one to real simulation, I would say. All right, now you put the order out there for 75s. Watch it come to the support here.
next profit is it going to be at let's see, where's that? 73, 75, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't really get there. Huge volume stepped in there. I'm gonna have to just try to maximize my potential here. Too much volume went in there, guys. I think there's some investors stepping in here. I saw there it is. There's 49,000 shares there at 85. So I just paid myself a little bit. Now I can just hold the rest break even, not even care about the trade.
Right. Yeah, for sure, man.
I wanted those 75s. I had it out there. It went to 76. I could hold and kind of get through this potential range. But one of the key things is that when you see that amount of sizing come into a trade, I always talk about how one trader can kind of just change the pattern. That one trader that just bought 49,000 shares can just ruin this VWAP fade for me. And so one of the key things is since it's at support one there, it's hanging around there at 81s, I decided I'll take another little partial there and be able to at least just hold the rest. Kind of the difference between John's trade and my trade is that I think he could have taken profit and taken his trade off. But where I think he decided to take it off was it should have been taken off a little bit earlier. He took it off. I think he took it off as it approached 10 or 11. And
Right.
I think you should have been, if you were going to take it off, it was at 23.05.
Right. You might
And
be
then,
right.
then it could have been okay. Then you could have maybe looked for another entry up there at 23.15s. I always say if you're going to end the trade, let it end kind of near that support level. Because if you end by that support level, then it doesn't really matter. I mean, you kind of essentially got your gain. You just didn't maximize to what I call support two.
Right.
There's support one that we try to get to on the immediate move. And then there's support two, which is more the long-term play. And then after that, there's just complete faders.
Right. I mean, what I got stopped out on was it faded off. If you look at AMD's chart right now, this thing has faded 4 times today. And so I got faked out on the second fade. And the reason I got faked out is because if you look at the previous days when it faded on AMD, like if you look at, see what days exactly this happened. If you look at previous days, when it faded, it did kind of like look at on the 30th, on November 30th, it did the same thing and then it squeezed up. And so that's really
the share size on MBEV.
What pulled through.
1273.
What is that?
120,000 shares just sitting there on the level 2 on EdgeX.
Yeah.
At 80.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's why it's covered a little shares. Don't want to mess with that guy. Whoever he is, that's a lot of money.
Right, for sure.
Millions probably. And leverage. I mean, calculate it. 120,000 times 4. We're talking really close to $1 million there.
Right, definitely.
Look at NIO. NIO is a beauty.
Oh, I know. I saw that one too.
At
this point, I was looking at
it bounced to 55. I wanted it at 55.
I was looking at VIPS. It was at the VWAP. Oh, it broke through. That was a fake out. It faded once. Didn't really follow through all the way, but not too bad. For new traders, how much should I put in my account? It's all subjective, man. It all depends on what you're specifically looking for.
And what you're willing to risk.
Right. It just depends.
Some traders can get an account and not stress about it. It's just, hey, if this money goes, it goes. Then some traders can make an account that, essentially it's their hard work money. They don't have, to put 3 or 4 of these into an account. And those traders usually have a lot tougher time because the emotions get to them. So you need a little bit more cushion. Right. So you get through the emotions.
So you feel better.
Yeah, and get to that confidence side.
Right.
What happens to most small accounts is that you take one big hit. That one big hit ends your account.
Right.
From there, you can't recuperate your emotion levels. You can't get past what actually happened versus what you expected to happen.
Right, for sure. And here's the thing. What Eddie said is 100% true, right? I love that answer from Eddie. Like 0, like paper trade first. Like it's something we went over yesterday, but like it's really tough for a new trader, and I understand it because when I was brand new, of course, everybody gets super excited. They get all these hopes and dreams, and they put it into trading, and they get super excited for it.
Noble, BNED, getting hit hard.
Yeah, I mean, it would, it's one of those companies that is bound to fail. Just because books and physical books specifically are becoming obsolete. And not only that, but Amazon is taking over the book world, especially the brick and mortar bookstore world. I think it's bound to fail. And I love Barnes and Noble, man. I love going to Barnes and Noble, but I think
Plus,
that
no
it's a,
more libraries.
right. I think it's more an inevitability. But yeah, Michael. So like Eddie said, right? You want to go through, like, before you use real money. You know, you put all these hopes and dreams into it. All new traders probably get pretty excited to trade real money, but like, you want to go through the process first. You want to find a strategy. Make sure it's your strategy, not necessarily, you can use somebody else's, but make sure you personalize it for yourself in order to fit, how you act in trades as best you can. Back test the strategy, so look over data. Get really prepared to trade. Learn as much as you can before you lose real money, because ultimately, the more you learn before you go live, probably the less you're ultimately going to lose at first. You're still probably going to lose money, as most new traders do, but you want to make sure you're really ready. And I think new traders rush into it, and they really get excited to use real money. It's not one of those things where a large majority of new traders are not just going to jump in and be really, really profitable within a month. It's just not going to happen. It generally takes a year at least. And there's outliers. Some people are exceptions to that, but I think for most it's like that. And so you just want to take it really slow, man. Just take it slow, learn as much as you can, paper trade as often as possible, work on building a plan around each strategy you do. And then once you feel like you're showing consistent gains, paper trading, and that you have a good foundation, then maybe use on to real money, but with small sizing, until you can really understand the little nuances of using real money and how they affect your mental state. That's how I think the most reasonable way to approach it for a new trader.
Yep, I would have to 100% agree with that. Now MBEV is going to get, I think, a VWAP test here, guys. I can't let it get past my average cost, which is 93. 93 is my average cost. I'm not going to let it get above that.
Eddie's a member of one of our classes. Sorry, he is Heriberto. We call him Eddie. That's his nickname in our class, and so I just call him Eddie because it's easier.
NIO making a move for the VWAP also.
Man, look at AMD, man. AMD faded over and over and over again. And this is one of those things, right? Like, I back tested November for the...
Huya's up at the VWAP.
Huya?
Yep.
Yeah, I see that one too. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I used to hate AMD, but then when I looked at the back testing results for the bounce and the fade, it just kind of opened my eyes to AMD. I've been trading it a lot, and it's been working. It kind of shows the importance of back testing, because you get solid data from it that you can use.
I would love to see this crack down and get back to 80s. If it gets back to 80s, we should definitely get that 475 push.
Yeah, it looks like Huya might fade. Big up wick at this point. It just depends on where you're going to set your risk in that one. I would have to do it probably around 80 as well, like 1680, so it's about 8 cents away, so who knows. Doesn't look that bad, though. It faked you out twice, Dex? How? On the fade? Was it the first fade in the morning, Dex? Like the first one? The first 3 candles? Because those were kind of fakish. That's why I said I like to wait until like 9:40 to attack the fade, just because I let it calm down a little bit first.
Let's go. Let's get some weight here, right here in 83s. I'm looking for that weight to come in here. 500 shares, 500 shares. Let's let that big shorter step in here. There's 82s. That's what I want to see right there. I'm looking for the big short.
Great movie.
Yep. Looking for it. There was 4,000 shares going through there at 86. So now that 88 level is very important. A lot of short is adding to size in the 86 to 88 range. So kind of if it gets above that 88, it'll get a swing of momentum. But if it can hold below it and get hit again in probably the 83s or 82s, you'll get that smackdown through the 480s. One of the key things is I use kind of an understanding of psychology of where buyers and sellers should be. Using that with a combination of the time and sales, I'm able to watch where essentially I feel that buyers and sellers should step up. These are important levels, key levels that we use in trading to determine our entries and exits. This is how me and John master risk and reward and have an ability to be consistent traders.
Michael, man, I wouldn't know, man. I don't know. All I watch all of their free content, man, but I wouldn't know whether his system is good or not. And so like I said, I wouldn't know. I'm never taking it. Yeah, you're reading that. I know exactly who you're talking about.
To laugh. I tried. I'm over here trading, and I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah, but like I said, man, I wouldn't know, man. I think all the gurus have good content, free content. Whether I would pay for their courses is a different story. But I've never taken them, and so I couldn't tell you whether they're good or bad, man. Their courses,
guys,
specifically.
Above 490s, I'm gonna get out, guys. Keeps testing this 490 range. If it gets above that 490, it should make a kind of a squeeze move. So I'm not gonna put myself at risk here. 491s or big sizing go through at 490s will probably just get me out. Got to be careful here, guys.
Yeah, a rejection here would be nice, but
yeah,
you've already taken enough profits to where you're all right.
Yep. Even if it goes to 491, 495, I'll still be fine.
Yeah, if
I'm giving myself the ability.
If it does squeeze, it might squeeze hard, is what I was gonna say. Yeah.
And that's what you do.
For sure.
We get out, guys, and guess what? First trade on the intro account completed, guys.
Right.
Stepped up. Gonna take an intro account, guys, here to really show you guys that move into kind of profitability and take some profit from TradeNet. One of the biggest keys is profit from TradeNet. We've had a lot of questions on that, and what we want to do is I'm going to take this account, take some really big swings. The smallest share size that you guys should probably see is 500 shares, and show you guys to kind of, if you really want to make an account, you got to take the swings. You got to know when to take the bigger share size and kind of stay consistent. It's not about over trading. Over trading is going to be exactly what is going to take this account away. The only way we're going to maximize this account is going to be to go ahead and take share size when we do see our strategy present, and be very patient with non-strategy entries. We're not going to take them. We're going to let stocks go and take our time. I still got my student account, which I have to the left and right. I can go ahead and put orders in that account. But what I really want to do is focus on taking a small account and showing you guys that we can extend it. Take some profits. All right, guys, let's look around. Let's see what else we got out there in the market.
Yeah, TEFS is TradeNet's broker, Annihilate. So it's TradeNet's broker, right? So you like pay for a package on TradeNet, and then you get a funded account through TEFS is the way it works. If you are interested in signing up, you can go through my link here. It gets you 10% off the intro packages. I make a commission from it. It's one of the ways we keep the stream free. And so make sure to do your own research. Maybe I'm biased with it. I always try to be honest with people about it. But if you're interested, you can go through their link. There's a lot of drama with them lately. And so, like I said, do your research. I don't mind using them. And in my mind, if they pay out, they pay out. But do your research, like I said. But there's the link if you want to. If there's the 10% off link. Also, man, look at my graph, man. I'm proud of my graph. This is one of the best graphs I've had. Check it out. So this is my last 30-day graph. Not too bad, man. A nice little profitable graph, especially if you look at...
how's a fourth fade for AMD sound?
I know, man. I'm seeing it, dude. I've been watching it.
But interesting.
Right, for sure. But my graph since the 19th is pretty as well. And if you see this, I've only had one red trade since the 19th, or one red day since November 19th. One red day. And so I'm proud of that for sure, man. You know, accuracy in the last few weeks has been roughly 70%. Average hold time for winning is 10 minutes. Average hold time for losing trades is 5 minutes. I need to work on my risk reward a little bit. My accuracy rate's high. I think my risk and reward is suffering because of that. It's about 1-to-1. But my profit factor is good. It's 2.33, so not too bad. I'll definitely take it for sure.
We are looking interesting here.
Last week has been really great. Let's see. This is my graph from the last week, so not too shabby. No gross red days in over a week now. And so we'll see if we can keep it going, guys. Been doing really well in November and December, so hoping just to keep that momentum rolling here.
Yep, I think I might have missed my entry there on Huya, but it definitely looked interesting there when it wicked above, then came down, went back to the VWAP, gave you an easy risk level 78 off of 70, 8-cent risk for a potential 30-cent gain. Definitely a trade that if I could go back 2 or 3 minutes, that's a trade that I take. I just got to it a minute later at 10-11.
All right, two-way. Nice work, brother. Nice work, man. You've been doing well as well.
Good one.
AETE, somebody mentioning it, or AETI, I should say, is starting to push here. We'll see if it holds. I must have drawn this resistance line previously. We'll see if this 160 resistance line I drew earlier still holds. Yeah, AMD, I'm looking at it for another fade.
NIO looking interesting.
Yeah, it is right up there, man. I mean, the risk could be realistically 752 or so. Let me see, 751.
Yep.
752. Doesn't look bad for risk.
Yeah, it's reward, just more of a 1-to-1 kind of trade.
I mean, not really. I think from 45 to 52 is 7 cents, and then from 45 to 73 is 12 cents. And so it's almost 2-to-1. But it's one of those
tight there.
Right.
A little tight.
Small range is what it is.
Small range. I usually like it when it's at least let's say 7 to 15 cents. A little bit over. When it's tight on the risk, I like it to be a little bit over 2-to-1. More closer to that 3-to-1.
Right. I think NBEV may have faked you out.
Yeah, it might have.
Yeah, I think it was a good exit though. I think that was the
break-even pricing. That's
right.
Fine with it. One of the keys is that we all know that if it pushed to 5, I easily can see this go to 520 and then not be able to get out and then just kind of get destroyed,
Right, for sure.
One of the real keys is not putting yourself in a position of risk when you already took profits. As long as you're not putting yourself in a position of risk after you're already taking profits, that's going to be fine. So we had one up towards that 593, a second move up towards that 593. I'm going to look for another move up towards that 593 and rejection. Rejection from that 593, a curl down through the 490s, can risk off of 490s from 495s. Essentially 5-cent risk, try to get back down to that 75. And so I would look for kind of a touch here to 85, a pull around, kind of pull. Feel like it's going to touch 85 here, pull back around in the 490s, maybe try 492. If it doesn't break out past that 492, I'll go and I'll hammer it down again.
For sure. Yeah, I think I'm paying attention. Like, my accuracy rate is high. Like, my accuracy rate in the last like 7 trading days is 85.7%, close to 86%. So really high accuracy rate. It's just about, I need to maximize my risk and reward. That's something I really need to focus on. My average per share gain is 11 cents, and so I'm not maximizing my risk and reward here, and I missed out some more on AMD, and so I'm happy with my trades. Definitely have some holes I need to fix in my game to really maximize profits, but overall I'm happy with it for sure.
Got one that moved that I didn't know about today. Any's moving.
Appreciate the sub, Juan and Riz. AWS Isaac, appreciate the subs, guys. A and Y. I saw A and Y starting to move in pre-market today. Yeah, you can see it started to run in pre-market. I spotted it, but I just don't. Volume's too low. I just don't trust it, to be honest. The way the chart looks, I'm not feeling that.
Yeah, it's more on that VWAP reject right now.
It happens, Jason, man. It's a process, brother. You know. Kent, I'm in the process. One of the reasons why my accuracy rate is high, but my risk and reward and gains have been worse because my accuracy rate is high is because I'm trying to scale up. Like today I used 200 shares with AMD. I'm trying to scale up to realistically get to about 500. And so, it's a process for sure. With share size, I'm just looking at the range of the stock, like how much it moves. One of the ways you can look at that is just to mark down the high and low of the day. Like for AMD, 2340, 2270, range of about 2270 to 2340. Not a huge range, so a range of about, what is this, 70 cents, about a 70-cent range for AMD today. And so I could use 200 shares, but I just try to analyze the range of the stock and then use that to determine how much shares I'm going to take with it. Yes, Michael. Like one thing that we typically preach about and teach in our classes is just like building a firm plan around each trade we get into. Like when I got in AMD here, I said my risk was at about 25 or 27. So this red bar right here was my risk when I got in this first fade here. And so, we just try to create a plan. My reward level was at 22.97, which is where I exited the last amount. But I missed out on some profits there. But we try to give ourselves a complete trading plan with each trade we get into. And so we calculate where our risk is, where our reward is, making sure our reward is 2 times our risk at least, and then trying to execute that plan. And that's what we try to do on every single trade we get into. That's how you're going to find consistency as a trader. Kent, it all depends, man. If you're trading with a small account, I think that's really hard to do, Kent, like 2%. I think it's really hard to do. But I think that you should use the chart to guide you on where to set your risk, and then adjust your share size accordingly. If your risk is bigger, you can go a little bit smaller. If your risk is tighter, you could probably go a little bit bigger, but you want to use the chart to determine the appropriate share size to take in order to have a consistent risk in each trade.
There's a little crackdown there, guys, through the 85s there for MBEV. See if we get a last push. The reason I think we'll get that last push is more the 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart shows that it could push again there, creating that third resistance and then crashing down. So I'm looking for that next resistance test at 492 to fail, and then I'll hammer this down through the 490s. If it just goes through right here, then just let it go. Don't be upset about it. You've already taken profits from this stock. I can't ever be upset about a missed move because at the end of the day, I've already taken some trading, profits in this ticker. And if you've gotten some profits, you held to your plan, and that's what you should base your emotions on, right, not on what happens to the stock after.
That's rough, Dex. Hey, man, you'll bounce back, brother. It's just a process, man. Every day is not going to be green, and every trader's going to have losing days. So don't stress it, brother. Just don't let it get to you, man. You'll bounce back, bro.
Yeah. Always go back to looking at if you at least took the right kind of trading plan and where you made your trading errors. It's not about having an emotional attachment to losing. If you have an emotional attachment to losing, all you're going to do is just drain the energy out of you. And how do you expect to bounce back tomorrow if you just kill yourself today? You can't bounce back. One of the keys is everyone takes hits, everyone's going to lose. But if you're able to just focus on the plan and focus on the process, you'll get through that loss. Losing is a part of trading. It's 100% a part of trading.
Oh, 100%. You're gonna lose, and it's okay. Like I have a sticky pad next to my monitor that says it's okay to lose. You don't always have to be right. And that's the truth. You're not always
Wasn't
going to be
watching
right.
it, but Huya looked interesting. Remember, I talked about when it cracked down the 50s, if it came back to that 70 to get in off that 77, 78. There's definitely a good potential there.
Yeah, AMD did what I was worried about, right? So if you look at the previous days on AMD and you go back to on the 30th, it did almost exactly what it did now. Kind of a very similar move there, and that's what I was worried about. It's been kind of fading some at the open and then reversing eventually, but there's
So
fades to take advantage of.
one of the keys is with AMD is that it does the three moves, right? Um, we very often you're gonna get that three kind of move. It's the same way the ABC pattern works on the long side. You get that A move, you get that B move, you get that C move. Very rare does that D move actually follow through.
Right.
And I think that's what you see on AMD. You get that A move where it, first bounces, flushes down. Then you get a bounce to the VWAP again, you get that B move, flushes down. Then you actually get that C move where it actually flushes down towards that new daily low, which it went to 2280. Then you get a bounce up, it doesn't even get to that resistance, and it flushes down again. That actually was the D move. From there on, for you to get another bounce and then another flush, it's the probability starts going down, way down actually. Very rare do we get stocks to bounce, 4 or 5 times to the VWAP and fade.
Right.
3 times is common, 4 times and 5 times.
Pretty rare. Yeah, for sure. But the good news is that there's lots of opportunities before then most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, there's 3 chances there for you to make good money there. ABCD pattern, Michael Wang, is a long pattern. You can literally just put this up in Google. It's a what we call a continuation pattern. It's usually tied with a flag. And he's looking really good for that pattern breakdown, but it's not really the pattern and strategy for today. So I'm looking at MBEV here, guys. He keeps holding down those 83s. I want that one more push, guys. One more push up. Don't want to short here in the 83s. Get stopped out at the top of the resistance, 91. Five-minute chart shows that it will get one more bounce at least. 5 minutes looks beautiful. The stock gets that big green, bounces up towards that level of, let's say, 489, 90s, and then rejects back down.
Yeah, I'll say this though, the fade has been in play a lot the last month, and so it's been a good month, but it's not always going to be this easy, guys. It's there's going to be some times when it's just not in play.
But you got to take your swings.
Right.
It's just there. It's about learning that when the market's not hot, it's not following, got to let it go. When the market's hot, following, hey, got to step it up to the big boys.
Right.
Look at I. I was interesting today. That was a nice little flush down through the 25s. Little VWAP rejection. Couldn't get back above.
Yeah.
AMD heading down back below the VWAP.
AETI trying to find some support at that $1.50 level.
All right, MBEV broke that 85 range, that 85 level. We could get a washout right here through these 81s. I'm not going to go ahead and chase it, try to scalp a trade. It's not really my strategy, guys. If it doesn't bounce back up there to those 490s, we'll just let the stock go.
Right, for sure. Also, shout out to Trade Ideas for being cool enough to let me stream their scans. Let me post that link as well. If if you see the scans on the left side of the screen, that's from Trade Ideas. Really cool company, makes my mornings really easy, and they're, like I said, they're cool enough to let me stream these scans every morning. And so go check out Trade Ideas. I just posted the link if you're interested in checking them out. I have the pro package, so like I said, it makes my mornings much easier with Trade Ideas. So go check them out. Let's see what AMD does here. It's curious. I'm curious. IQ faded nicely yesterday as well, man. IQ's been another one that's been. If you look at IQ, it faded 4 times yesterday, and then yeah, it had a really nice fade just now as well.
Yeah, I mean, it goes with Huya, you know. You can look at Huya and it's very similar stocks.
A lot of people talking about SFET. I saw that one earlier on the scanners. It's kind of calmed down a little bit. I think it built up a lot of support though, right around the 735 level. It was also the highs of pre-market right around 740, 735, and 740. So it seems to have a lot of support there. Like if you see I extend this to the left, it goes right to those pre-market levels. And so I think that's a crucial level to watch for SFET as well as the low of the opening. Yeah, I mean, Trade Ideas, it's a paid service. It's just about whether you have the money. There's a lot of free tools as well. Like you can use SnapTrade, you can use StockMarketWatch.com, FinViz. There's a lot of them.
One that was interesting that we didn't really trade that was tradable was CLVS.
I know that's the one I mentioned this morning. It spiked up a lot, and then I think it gave it back, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it gave it back.
Yeah.
It just flopped right back down.
Nice little fade there, though, at about 957.
That wasn't the worst. Uh-oh. There's that squeeze look for MBEV. I'm telling you guys, I'm following off the 5-minute chart, and it's looking like it's following it to the key. Move here to 91s, 80, 89, 91s in that range, then a curve right back down. That's what we're going to look for.
AMD finding support. Yeah, no, I completely understand, Maxi. No stress, brother. Do I think the Thinkorswim trade features? I mean, it all depends, man. I've traded on Thinkorswim before. I have some videos on them. The big thing with trade idea or not trade ideas with Thinkorswim is that in order to short, you have to have a margin account, so you have to have over 2 grand, and you have to get approved for it. And so I never was able to short on Thinkorswim, but I like their platform. I didn't get bad fills when I did trade with them. My fills weren't terrible.
Yep.
I wonder where that guy was like last week that was like, you guys always lose. I wonder if he's going to come here and apologize. Doubt it. But it's kind of good to, after he says that, to go on like a 7-day win streak, 8-day win streak. People always haters think they're making me feel bad. If anything, they're motivating me to do better. And so I actually kind of appreciate that. Later, two-way. Have a good day, brother. Nice work today, man.
Yeah, I grew up in Hater, Miami, so
Yeah, for sure.
I'm used to the hate.
I always tell my daughter the same thing. I tell her people that bully you, people that hate on you, like they're just insecure within themselves. Like that's all it is, right? And if you can acknowledge that
competition thing,
right? If you can acknowledge that and understand that, then you'll feel a lot better even as it's happening. You must mean Miami, Ohio.
uh, Yeah, the good old Ohio. Oh, how I hate
Right, Jason.
Ohio State.
That's what it is, man. Ge-
Ohio State.
uh, I'm an LSU and a Saints fan. Nobody remind me of the last 2 weeks in Louisiana football. Nobody remind me.
Oh, it's bad.
Dude, leave me alone, man. You know,
Don't worry.
don't.
At least the trading's better.
Right. Hey, the Saints could still go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's all I'm saying. LSU, those refs did us dirty in that A&M game. It's even worse though. But it's even worse though because I'm in Texas right now after that A&M game. Yes, surely. That's right, Sean. Go
No.
Saints.
All right, guys. I honestly, I see today's probably getting towards that kind of the same way yesterday was. I really stayed on one stock and hammered down on that one stock. Today's very looking like that day again. I'm looking to hammer down on MBEV. I have my set plan, and I'm only going to follow that plan. If it goes anywhere elsewhere, then let it keep going.
Right, for sure. Yeah. Oh no, not Shirley, not Shirley. Gil, I'm sorry. Boo, Gil.
Cowboys.
Shirley, you're cool. There you go.
Cowboys remind me of the U.S. government.
Yeah, that's actually where I'm from, Shirley. Yeah, so go
Cowboys
Tigers.
remind me of the government. Always trying to look pretty.
What's up, Casey? What's up, brother? Another man, how you doing today, Casey? You still keeping that green streak alive, brother? Um, nice. Yeah, I'm from there. My mom lived in Prairieville, Shirley. Currently, I reside around Houston. Kron?
I gotta come through, man. I want to go. I'm gonna come see an Astros game soon.
Hey, let's do it, man. I haven't been to an Astros game since I've lived here, and it's
Oh, we
something I've
got.
always wanted to do, but I just haven't
Yeah,
yet.
I like that stadium. It's pretty cool. Good
Yeah,
field.
for sure. Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, Minute Maid Park is a good one. All right, some big shares going through there at MBEV there, guys. About 10,000 shares, all added up. A little bit more.
We got Kansas City Mac in here talking about the Chiefs. Get out of here, man. You know?
It's all good. I'm crying because the Chiefs, man. This guy Hunt ruined my fantasy league.
Man. We just had a bad game versus the Cowboys. It was a game we needed to win, though. But it was just a bad game, you know. At least we beat the Falcons. That's all. I mean, I'm happy about that, but man.
One of the really good plus sides of a good trading station is it's essentially a TV.
Right. No. So I have a couch like in the front room of my office now. Like I put my old couch in here. And like if my wife takes over the TV in the living room, I just turn my monitor to the side and just lay on the couch and like watch videos and stuff. Watch Netflix. It works. Yeah, Jets. Not doing too hot. That's right around where I am, Cameron. I mean, I'm not in Humble, but I am in a suburb north of Houston. I'll just say that. I'm not gonna say where, but I'm around Humble. I've been to Humble a few times.
Look at that LEVB. Was talking about that one in
Yeah,
pre-market.
it wasn't tradable, man, but nice little gap fill. I was watching it, man, but
It
it's
was
just it wasn't tradable. Fades all day on that
exactly
one.
what I talked about, guys, on that stock. The big key was going to be seeing it go through that 490s. Once you saw it go through that 490s, you could look for it. And what happened right before the open, it went through that 490, bounced up there to the VWAP, and just faded. Faded once, faded twice, faded three times. Then you got the breakdown,
Right.
the rule of three.
Yeah, man. I mean, Houston weather, it's been kind of moody lately. Like, it's cold today. Yesterday it was hot. The day before it was hot. Last week it was cold. And so it's like my AC is going to go out switching from heat to cool.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I have a feeling that MBV here, guys, is gonna make a push towards that 490s, but we can't just short it on the immediate push, because let's say if it pushes and then there's a big buyer that steps up there at 490s, what's end up happening is that you're gonna get it squeezed very fast at five. And what I'm gonna look for is more what I call, it's more like the over under play. You're gonna let it go over the VWAP or let it come to the VWAP with strength. Let it show that it's showing weakness at that point and then short it. Versus as you're seeing nothing but green fly through on the time and sales at 490 and then you just short it. Um, that's gonna always gonna get you into what can happen is you can actually be shorting into the squeeze. You want to see the stock kind of slow down, the momentum kind of shift between just green on the time and sales to that green and red mix. That's when you start seeing the slow up, the volume kind of not just flowing through, but slowing down. And then you'll get that kind of curve effect on the downside. And wouldn't you know it, there's MBEV.
Yeah, there it goes up to 490s.
There's a reason why I talked about it, guys. I wanted you guys to have a little bit of moment to prepare for this moment here.
Well, that trend line is starting to be defined now.
Really defined.
Right.
Why? Third resistance. Look at the 5-minute chart. It plays it out perfectly.
Yeah, not a bad trend line. Even if you, I mean, it's almost like a symmetrical triangle. You could make it a symmetrical triangle. Like, look, if you did
so you
this.
saw that green flowed through, green flowed through, green flowed through, and then now it's in the in-between spreads.
Right. Let's see what happens here. But yeah, it's a nice little symmetrical triangle. Not quite perfectly symmetrical, but it doesn't look too bad. Appreciate the sub one. Welcome, brother. Appreciate it, man.
All right. Let's get into that level here, guys, where I'm getting interested.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. AMD kind of faked people out. I mean, it's one of those stocks where it had so many fades that, the more fades that happen, the less I trust it. Like you said, very rarely will a stock fade more than 3 or 4 times and follow through. AWS. This is with Tefs, which is TradeNet's broker.
All right, guys, I'm short there, guys. Short there. Have to hold off a tight stop. Don't want it above these 90s here, guys. Stepped in there short, guys. Using 93 as my risk here, guys. 93 as my risk. All right, guys, got to hold tight.
Bought the UGAZ dip. Casey, let me take a look at that one real quick. You said what's your risk?
Above 90, 91s, 93s. 93 is where I'll get out. I don't want to see 91s get filled. Essentially, 490s is where we could see a rejection. We don't want another high, essentially.
Right. Where's your reward?
Reward would be 481s and then 475s.
Okay. I don't mind that.
All right. This is where it's going to be right here, guys. Watch to see if it gets above 490s here, and it's going to just bring down here the hammer.
88.
All right, since we started making this down move, that last high is going to be my risk. 491s is my out here, guys. So essentially, we have only a 4-cent risk for potential. What we got? First profit would be about 7 cents, and then it would be 12 cents on the second one.
Not bad. Because it's the trend line, John. So, like, if you look at the bottom of that trend line here, the trend line is right around 481. It ends right around here. Like, if you look at my chart, it's a little bit more clean.
Yeah, it's test charting is kind of not the
Here,
best.
I'm gonna pull it up real quick. So, like,
pull it up on Thinkorswim.
Like, look, so like, look here. Like, look at my chart, for instance. Like 482, 481 is right where this trend line is, and so that's kind of what he's basing it off of. I think Tef's charting is actually a little bit faster than Thinkorswim's, though, just looking at both of them side by side.
It is. That's why I use it.
Yeah, no stress, John. You back from vacation, brother? I know you went on vacation for a week, man. Let me know if you want me to send you all the classes you missed, man.
All right, that's looking good for us now, guys. Definitely 490s now. Got to respect that 490 now.
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's a little bit quicker, Casey, actually. I mean,
A tiny bit quicker.
right. Just looking at, I have both side by side. Like, I have your NBEV, and even though we're on like a streaming software right now, it's still faster than mine. Ah, you were working in Mexico. Okay. That's cool, man. I'd like to get out once my kids turn 18. My wife and I are gonna go do a bunch of stuff. But until then, I'm like a grandpa, man. I stay home every day.
Oh, good, Grandpa John.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys, let's see if we can get through this short time support of 85. If it breaks down through that, we should get a nice down move.
That's possible, Dex. If you're using Thinkorswim like me with Tefs, that's a possibility for sure. Especially if the stock's really moving when you get in. Isaac, so we have classes every weekday, man. We do classes. Every weekday we have an hour-long live class. And like I always say, like, we're not experts or gurus or anything like that. We just have a system and kind of show new traders how to trade, about our system. And I mean, the system works. You can look at our graph, see that we're profitable. We have some holes. I need to scale up to better take some gains out of the market, but it's just a class for new traders, helping them progress.
All right, guys, don't want this past 491 now. 491's my out here, guys. As it approaches here, just got to stay tight. If it reverses back down, we should get this crackdown. So we just got to stay to our plan. Staying to plan is what will get me to profit in this stock if I just stick to it.
Hey, appreciate it, Sid. Yeah, man, we just try to practice what we preach, man. And it's I probably sound like a broken record, but it really is like if you're having a consistency problem, then give yourself a plan with risk and reward in each trade, and you'll really find more consistency that way. At least in my opinion, it's something I really believe in, and I think it's something that a lot of other people never really touch on. You know, other people, other gurus and stuff, they might show you their $1 million strategy, and that's great. But any strategy can work if you use good risk and reward, and I think that's what we really focus on the most. Um,
There you go. That's looking good there. Looking good there. Following the trend line, guys. It rejected off the trend line there. Now we don't want to see 88s go through the big size. There you go. We got that move down to 85. Pressure coming down on those 85s.
how do you turn on the audio alerts on trade ideas? I'm not sure. I've never used the audio alerts, D-Skizzy.
You got to go to settings. It's probably one of the settings in there. That last high was 89. Gotta respect 90s here. Just wanted to get hit hard at 85s, and then it can break down through that. And if it breaks down through that, we're gonna get that nice profit today. Playing with the house money here, guys.
Let's get some big consolidation in there. Let's see if it follows through here. I like the fact that you have a super defined risk area at this point. You know, it's super defined. You got a lot of up wicks and tops right around that 489, 490 level. And so if it gets to 491, I think, you know, it's a pretty obvious risk level. You hear everyone but us. My volume's up as loud as it can be. Yeah, my volume's up all the way. Ray, I think can everybody else hear me okay?
I'm pretty sure everybody can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's on your end, Ray. I think everybody else can hear me. It's a little low. Okay. Okay, everybody. Yeah, I can turn Mitch up some. There you go. But I think Mitch is almost at the max as well. We only have one for the members, Isaac. I have another one for everybody, but I never really use it, to be honest. Like I have so many people, not even like class members, but I just have a lot of different traders that I talk to and that message me and text me on a daily basis. It's, you know, I feel bad. It's hard to get back to everybody just because I have a lot of people that text me on a daily basis. And so I try to do my best to help them as much as they can, but sometimes I just don't have time to get back with them. But yeah, if you zoom out, man, NBEV looks like a really obvious symmetrical triangle. Very, very obvious. Michael Wang, I think he entered at 86, 87.2, 87.2.
Yeah, I had the market. It's part of my fill should be at 88, but the market life.
Yes, Michael, I believe so. 500 shares at 487.
Yep.
Right. You can look at the bottom left side of the screen.
Yeah, that's what I gave you guys.
Average cost.
Shows you guys sell shares. Shows you guys the average. And it's really all you need to see.
Yeah, no stress, Michael.
All right, let's see if we get the bid to come down to 85s.
Appreciate it, Michael. Yeah, man. I mean, listen, we just preach about like risk and reward. It's what we try to do in every trade. It's kind of one of those things that you have to condition your brain to just do it secondhand or second nature, I should say, not second hand, second nature. And so it's kind of one of those things where if you do it over and over and over and over again, your brain will just be used to doing it. And so it's kind of what your brain automatically kind of locks onto before you get in each trade. And like that's
All
what
right,
we try to
guys.
do.
It's getting to that point here, guys, where you really have to hold tight to your levels because regardless of which way it's going to move now, so much price consolidation at these levels are going to make it move fast.
NETE is
On the 85s, let's see if we get this shorters to step in here and knock it down through 85.
Did you exit some already?
Nope.
Okay.
Let's go. Let's get that boom hammer.
Yeah, man.
Where's the flush?
It's starting. The triangle's starting to get tight, man. It's starting to get squished together, and so you're gonna get a break eventually here. One way. Hopefully, it's on the downside for you, but you should. It's a symmetrical triangle right now. You know, like if you look at my screen, you might be able to see it a little bit easier. But look at this. Look at the symmetrical triangle right here. If I zoom out, look at that. Look how. Let me extend it to the right. Look at that. And so he should get a break one way here, but regardless, tight risk. All right, Isaac, have a good day, brother. Man, did CLVS fade again? It did. A lot of fades in this market, guys.
What I like about this trade is that, guys, it's very defined, like John talked about. Regardless of whatever happens here, at least I know my defined position, defined exits, defined rewards, everything about what we talk about and preach, guys, complete trading plans.
100%. Makes it really easy just to guide you in the trade. Just it's a super obvious risk level at this point.
You know, it looks like it could be a push for you long traders. I'd keep an eye on any.
Yeah, NETE popped up on my scanners. Do you remember that stock, NETE?
All right, next candle here, guys. Paying attention here. Had a couple green candles in a row. Would love to see this flash back down to the 85s. There's the 85s. Let's see if it gets hit right here. Come on, let's see a big short step in. Starting to get me to the point where even I am noticing my emotions start rising up here, guys, as we get in tighter and tighter.
Yes. So it's really getting squeezed in this triangle right now. Like it's getting pretty tight in
Yeah,
that
it's as tight as
consolidation.
it gets right now. At least on tests, it can't even scale it properly anymore.
German? No, Pat. I mean, I don't speak German.
Guten Tag.
Mitch does, or
Oh,
Mitch does.
I speak very, very limited, but
I
believe it or
forgot your
not,
last name was German.
yeah, I have a German citizenship. I have dual citizenship.
That's
So,
cool.
so if I can run away if Trump wants to send me to war. All right, guys, pressure here on 85 to see if someone can step in here and knock it down. There's a whole bunch of volume there on the bid. We need someone to step in here and finish this pattern off. It's like I always say, confirmation doesn't come from the actual pattern itself, but comes from the only indicator that actually is confirmation, which is volume. A lot of people like to use many different indicators. I've learned at the end of the day, the only true indicator that tells you that there's confirmation is volume flowing through on the pattern. So if they would just hit this right now, the 85s with 2,000, 5,000, 8,000 shares, and it just knocks down, that's confirmation.
Yep, yep. Let's see it. This is like the make or break point right here.
Yep. It's even getting tighter and tighter. Top resistance line going all the way down now. Got to be holding tight here, guys.
Yeah, like I said, this is kind of where the triangle ends.
Exactly.
And
It
so,
ends completely.
right, like it's so close together that it has to break one of these ways. And so we should
Exactly.
get a
So
volume spike.
both ways.
Right, it could go either way, but the risk is tight on the upside for Mitch. So
That's what we always talk about. This is the exact trade where you can understand why we're in this trade. The risk to reward is there, and that's what matters at the end of the day. You're gonna find a lot of strategies, but if you're able to combine strategy with risk and reward, that's when you really start combining a complete trading plan. Here's the pressure on those 85s and the 84s. Let's see if we can get into the 84s and really start knocking it down here.
here you go, 85s. Let's hope it breaks on the downside now. You should essentially, a lot of people should see this.
There's the pressure.
It's a very defined triangle, a very obvious triangle.
Nope. Watch.
You got a question in German. Or no, that's for Jason.
Little fake order out there at 490s.
I never trade futures, Pat. I don't trade futures. I don't trade futures. I don't trade. I don't trade anything except for options. Sometimes, but more important or more often, definitely stocks. So there's the drop, man. There's the break of the triangle. Let's see if we get a big downward move for you.
All right, guys, looking for us to get to the 80s or 81s, and then I'll take a little bit of profit here, guys.
And if you want to see what I'm saying, just because Tef's charting is a little funny, but I can exit here and show you guys my chart. And so you can see this triangle breakdown right here. You can see the triangle that we drew. You can see it started to get really wedged in here. It's down to 81s.
All right, paid myself 200 shares there, guys. Now I have realized $47 and I'm going to let this work down to the 75s next shares.
There it goes. There's the breakdown. Hey, brother, it broke down on the downside. That's good news, man. Definitely. Good work. Nice spot.
Putting out my order to cover at 76 here, guys. Cover another 100 shares at 76. That's what I'm looking for.
CLVS actually faded nicely this third time, or the second time here. We're trading CFDs, Pat, not Forex. But
One of the great things about trading, guys, the way that we do is we get ourselves in a lot of what we call carefree trades, or essentially risk-free trades. That's kind of where I am at this moment here, guys. I've taken a little bit of profit, have an ability now to let the trade work. And regardless of the fact, I'll probably end this trade positive and green. So if you're going to be in the green, regardless of whatever happens, or unless something really unexpected happens, then that's when you got to really start taking the pressure off yourself as a trader. You can't be always in the like what I call the pressure moment. Right before then, I was in the pressure moment, guys. I was in the zone, focusing 100% on that 490s. If it got there, I was getting the hell out, and that's what needed to happen. But once I actually got the breakdown, all you got to do is just kind of take a deep breath.
right, calm yourself a little
Exhale,
bit.
calm yourself down, realize that that emotion drive was because there was kind of that breakdown or break up moment. You've gotten through that moment, so the pressure should at least get a lot off.
Right.
And I think that's what traders don't do, and that's why they rush the profits. They'll just take it right here at 480 and just be like, "Oh, I had a winning trade." But that's not what's going to do you in trading. You got to stick all the way to your trade plan.
Right.
Just like I got out before on my break even rate, I'm going to do the same here, but I'm looking for 475s, that next support touch. I'll sell some shares there and hold the rest for a breakdown, probably towards that 464 mark. That 464 mark is a daily high on November 28th. I could see it going down to that level.
For sure. Make sure you get a wash here. Let's see. But
You've
even
got
if not,
some little volume, little volume. What I always talk about in the time and sales, guys, little volume followed by big volume. Look for the big volume.
there we go.
Boom. 3,000 shares, 5,000 shares, 4,000 shares, 2,000 shares. All right. Should be able to get hit right here on this next little down tick. Willing to take 77s if it comes right back down on the bid here.
Yeah, it's formed that low. I think that makes sense.
It's kind of holding support where the bodies are.
Yeah, I see it.
Not the wicks.
Well, we have a break here. If anybody's interested in signing up to TradeNet, you can go through my link, get 10% off a TradeNet package. I make a small commission from it, but if you want to help support the channel, you can go through our link. Also, like I said, research it. There's been some drama with TradeNet lately. I enjoy using them, but maybe they're not for you. It all just depends. So do your research, but if you're interested in using the broker that Mitch and I use, you can go through my link. You can check them out. It's one of the ways I keep the stream free. And so go check that out if you have time. Yeah, same thing happened with me, Casey. So it's a process for sure, brother. Like looking back on AMD, I'm not that disappointed I exited it because it ended up fading back to the VWAP. And so at that point, I have to either A, take off the trade, or B, add some sizing and try to take advantage of the second move. Adding some sizing would have been the more profitable route, but I think my exit was all right there. All right, there's 77s for you.
Boom, took it.
All right, what you got left? 200.
200 shares, guys. The rest of it is break even. On the rest, let it try to break down and get to the next level. How do we do that, guys? Zoom out, find the next level, guys. Next levels for us is going to be at 68, 70s. I see the support at that 64 mark. What do I use? I use the daily high. I see 465s. 465s look like a great target, guys. So we're going to go for 466 or 467. So right now, I have my order out there at 467. If this breaks down through the support here at 75, I'll put the order out. I put the order out as the support gets broken so that the limit order can get out and get filled on the way down here. The breakdown happened at 85, guys. So I have a 87 average cost here. So I'm not going to let it get to 86, guys. 86 will be my out here. The rest of it, I'll just let it work. Why is 86 also my out, guys? If you see the upward trend line, the upward moving trend line, it actually moves it right above that to that 87 level. Now we want to see those 480s hold as resistance. If those 480s hold as resistance, we can get this move right back down and knock it right back down here. All right, guys, you guys can see the new account here, guys. Started with 14,000 today. Realized 5760 already. Unrealized 2040. Sitting in here, trying to get a nice breakdown to maximize this gain here.
Nice work, brother.
Yep.
It's been a good week, man. I'm kind of bummed out the market's closed tomorrow. Going to kind of hurt my momentum a little bit, hurt our momentum a little bit, but hey, man, Wednesday's toss up, so maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's helping me out some. But yeah, guys, if you don't know, the market is going to be closed tomorrow. There's no market tomorrow. The stock market will be closed.
See you in class, Casey.
Yeah, of course, Casey. Nice work today, brother.
Yeah, tonight's class, I'll go ahead and let everybody know a little bit. Tonight's class, I'm going to do a class on a topic that I really find interesting, and that's stock dilution. Stock dilutions and stock offerings. There's way too many out there, and not that many traders understand really what stock dilution is in the first place. So tonight we're really going to tackle that subject. I'm going to show you stocks that have had kind of secondary offerings. I'm going to really quickly establish that if this trade now goes above the resistance, because it keeps holding that 480 as resistance, if it does go to 481, we'll take 100 shares off to just pay ourselves the commission for this trade so that we can keep all our realized 5760 in net profits.
Yeah, appreciate it, Shirley. But yeah, Jason, actually, man, if you look at my stats, Thursday is actually the worst day for me. Thursday's been the worst day, at least in the last month. Thursday has kind of been my kryptonite. Wednesdays I've been doing all right, actually. Thursdays haven't been great. Honestly, this is just a beautiful triangle breakdown. Beautiful triangle breakdown here.
Hey, it's holding to the trade, holding to the plan. That's the only way it worked. The pressure was there, both sides, on both trades. But what did I do? I stuck to the plan, guys. You guys remember very early, back when this stock was at 10.15, I said, I'm going to wait for it to get to 490. If not, I'm not taking this trade. What did that give me? That gave me an ability to get through all that consolidation because I was at the top of the risk and not at the bottom of the risk. All right, now we've created that kind of that down one, down two, up two, down three, up three. We wanted to reject 80s here and come right back down to 75s, go through the 75s, make a move towards that 64. If you kind of measure this flag here, guys, if you measure the flag, I always say you can use the measurement of the flag, kind of your maximum potential for the trade. If you measure the flag is 20 cents. 20-cent breakdown from 485 would get us to where, guys? Right there to that 465 target.
All right, so we'll see what happens with the UFCs this weekend, man. Who you got, Mitch? You got Ortega or you have Holloway?
Tell you the truth,
Ortega's about to take it.
Yeah, that's the only one I really know of, so I'd have to go with Ortega. I don't really know the other guy much.
Holloway's the featherweight champ, man.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of stopped watching the featherweight after I wanted to join it.
Yeah, man, I think Ortega's going to tap him out quick.
Yeah. Hey, man, I did some America's Top Team for a good amount of time.
Nice.
I enjoyed doing that. It was fun.
Here you go.
For sure.
Here's the breakdown. Let's see if we get some volume here. Yeah.
As soon as it breaks through that 75, guys, I'll put out my order.
Here we go. Actually, your level 2 is a little bit behind mine. Mine's showing 74 on the bid, 76 on the ask.
Yeah, it's this fake ghost order right here at 75.
There it goes.
There it goes. It flowed through. 10,000 shares there at 74. That's what I always mean, guys. Low volume, followed by big volume is what you're looking for. 10,000 shares short there. I don't think anyone's longing at that 74.
Yeah, I don't either, man. I mean, some people could be longing it down at 70s because it has that previous low of the day if they're trying to get in on the possible scalp bounce maybe, but I don't think anybody's shorting it right here.
Yeah. And since that move was such a big move, there was 142,000 shares that went through there, and it wasn't showing up on all the volume on the time and sales. There's definitely dark pulling going on in this stock. Dark pulling is hidden orders. You can look up this term on Google. It's called dark pool ordering, and it's hidden orders. I'm seeing there's definitely some hidden sizing here, as if I add up all the share size that just went through, it would not add up to 142. All right, guys, have an order out right now, as you guys see on the screen, for 100 shares at 467. You cancel it for a second, try to get some momentum to come down towards it, because when you stay on the bid, if you stay on the bid in CFDs, I'm not so sure on, but in real equity trading, you stay on the bid, you're kind of holding the stock up. You're being a bag holder. If you can cancel your order and wait for the momentum to push towards your price, then put your price out. That's how you get your price covered on the bid. All right, guys, huge volume going through at 75, 78.
There's that bounce. Like I said, once it got down there, it's the previous low of the day is what it was. Yep. Some people are buying it at that previous low of the day. They may be scalping it though, like I said, just looking for a small bounce at that low of the day, getting out quick, and then seeing if it's going to turn.
What are we going to do, guys? Use that 480 price range. That 480, we're looking for a breakdown through that 480. If not, we'll take our profit, get on out of here now. Now that we're in this stage of kind of either the whole pattern just going to completely break down and give me that nice extension from the flag, or we're going to get our trade, what we call a trade reversal here, a bottoming, and then we'll curve back to the VWAP.
Yeah, that VWAP honestly is staying pretty steady up there. I'm surprised it hasn't dropped more, but volume I guess wasn't high enough on the drop.
The bottom side, yeah. Volume hasn't been that good on the wick side on the bottoms. You see those wicks, they haven't been that high. The only big order that really went through there, guys, was that 74 order. So that 74 order was a big order that broke down there. It was below that support line. So we're using this 480 line as a good measurement of if this stock is going to reverse on us or not. If we do get this breakdown through 475, this trade is going to be more than a good trade for us. Essentially kind of a home run trade in our books because we get support 1 profit, support 2 profit, and then look for that support 3 breakdown. Should usually get it here. If not, I'll probably create a new candle and push up to that 480. Here comes the pressure. There goes the bid down. Now, little sizing followed by big sizing.
So Dext, one of the time and sales is for small sizing. The other one is for medium sizing on the top right. And then the bottom one is for really big sizing. And so he can kind of see when the big orders are really going through on the time and sales, what's small and kind of insignificant, what's medium, so it might affect it some, and what's big that, it will usually reflect itself on the chart, if that makes sense.
100%. Great explanation there.
Appreciate it.
The reason being, guys, is at the end of the day, there's so much fake, or not really fake volume, but what I call algorithmic volume that you can't really follow. If you're trying to pay attention to those 100 shares that are going through there, you're gonna end up actually kind of killing your own mentality in the trade.
All right, let's get that break under 470 for you, brother.
Yep. Getting work text.
It happens.
Like, I'm off. This is what happens when you're a manager.
Yeah, he's using level 2. I mean, level 2 is on the bottom right there.
Okay. One of the things I always talk about, guys, is level 2s are the only thing that can really fake you out.
Right. Because
they're not real. Can't.
Yeah, because the level. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead. Explain it, because I'm gonna pay attention.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say. So level 2s can fake you out. The reason they can fake you out is because they're just orders that haven't necessarily gotten filled. The time and sales are filled orders. And so it's much harder for the time and sales to fake you out because those orders are actually getting filled, where a trader can throw up any sizing they want in an order, and you can see that on the level 2, but it doesn't mean it's getting filled, and they can use that to fake you out, where the time and sales is actual fills. And so thus, I actually like watching the time and sales a little bit more than the level 2. I look at the level 2 to see where I'm going to enter it, to see where it's at, to see where orders are building up. And I look at the level 2 to see what's going through, to see if we get confirmation and volume with that.
Mm-hmm. A lot of times what you see is like, let's say now for MBEV, if I was on a real equity trading, if I wanted to, I could put the pressure right now on 74. How do I do that? Is I short a whole bunch of shares up at like, let's say 478.
Right.
Stock is not going to want to come up to fill me because it will just improve my average and put more weight on those shorts.
Right. Exactly.
And so that's when you see a whole bunch of volumes get thrown up on the ask. You'll see like 126 at right now 479 or 478. That's pressure on the opposite side, trying to get the market maker to take the shares that are on the bid side and not the ask side. It's very confusing understanding bid and ask. So it's one of the things we tackle in our classes. We already have a class on it. and I'm just building more and more kind of knowledge, and teaching you guys it. It's not something that is easy. It's definitely something that takes a lot of experience. And I've seen, I think, over 100,000 candles now, or something like that, a million candles now, something like that. And through the time, you start seeing these. It's something that, at least when I was a fresh trader, you tell me 2 years ago what the hell is going on in the time in sales at level twos, and I would have told you, I don't know. I mean, volume,
Right.
but it takes time to understand that if there's an actual edge towards price action and technical aspects to this. Low volume. Let's see if we get the big volume to follow it. There's 73s, big volume, 2,200 shares there. Let's get another big order to go through there. There you go, knocking it. 73s now. Looking for this breakdown through the low. The low is 72. There's that down pressure right here. I don't want it to bounce above 476 now. Let it come down through this 472s now. There was down pressure and then just kind of bounced really quickly. There's that ask. Remember I just talked about it, guys? Look at that 475 right there. You see that 154? That's pressure. He's not trying to get filled there.
Yeah, it's like I said, man. I think some traders are jumping in that bottom looking for a scalp up there, maybe to 480, and then they're going to jump out and it's going to come right back down. Kind of, I think it shows you some scalping strategies in that, because usually a stock's at least going to bounce at that major support where it's the low of the day. This is really where we want to see a big volume come in, push this thing back down.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that that volume saw on the ass for someone trying to finish this stock. There you go.
I like that idea two-way. Take that ask.
You gotta take that ass. Yeah, that's where my Spanish starts messing up. The list part happening.
Yeah, I think my Cajun Louisiana accent doesn't help too much. My Southern accent doesn't help with those as well.
Get that ass, boy.
Hit the ask, All right, let's get a breakdown here, brother. Volume needs to come in, man. Let's see it.
So now what we got is, guys, we got 75 creating as a resistance here, guys. I'm letting that resistance hold there and kind of start pressuring down those 72s, which is essentially the low of the day here, guys. We're trying to get the low of the day crack here.
Yep.
All right, guys, it's looking like it's going to try to at least try that resistance a little bit here, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to pay ourselves to keep ourselves in this trade here at 75. We're going to let the pressure come to 75. If it does get above it, you see that big ask at 475, pressuring it down, 157. If he gets filled, I'll take 100 off. How am I going to know he gets filled? You'll see on the level 2, it'll go from 157 down to like 63, down to 43, and then it'll disappear. What have we been doing this whole time, guys? No pressure trading, talking about just about everything, relaxing, watching the trade work.
scaling out when you need to, getting comfortable in it, letting the rest work after you already have money in the bank. That's the way to do
Exactly.
it.
Money's in the bank, guys. Pressure off. Yep. They'll want that guy getting filled at 475 there, that 157. Let him
Yeah.
keep that pressure on there so that he can push it down when it gets to 72, 71. In the end, I think great day one for the new account.
Right, man. Hey, you're doing good, brother.
Yeah. For the week, we're looking at over 180, 190 profit already, net profit.
Nice.
All right. Getting this momentum here. There's that 156, guys. Watch that. See if he gets filled or not.
Yeah, that 475.
Yeah, that's the guy I'm looking at. That's the guy that can turn this back around to 490s. If it gets above, there you go. All right, we got to pay ourselves a little bit here. Okay. That's just to at least stay in the trade and let the trade go all the way back to my average pricing now, which is up at VWAP, guys. Now I can let this test that 480 and see if it's going to get above here, see if there's going to be a lot of volume to step in there. You see, the momentum's coming back, guys. All right, now we have realized 65.80. All right, don't want it to start holding above that 480 resistance. Would love to see a rejection here of that 482 level. Come right back down to those 475s. How much is in the account and how small we're talking here? As low as I opened another intro account with Tefs, which is only 500. And with our link, it's only what, 400 right now?
450.
Yeah, 450 right now. And what it gives you an ability to have an account with 1,400 buying power. And the buying power is essentially giving you a maximum loss of 700.
Right. Yeah, do your research. Like I always said, I enjoy using them. It might not be for you. There's been some drama with them lately, but do your research. I mean, I think most new traders are going to lose money anyway, and so if you're trying to learn, I think it's a good option.
All right, guys, if we draw that trend line on a 5 minute and we draw it downwards, the pattern that actually broke, we'll get to see that the important level is going to be that 85 level. 85 is going to be really important. I'm going to hold to that 87 level of break even on the rest. I could kind of stop out at 482, pay myself $6, but I'm trying to let this trade work. I really feel like it can break this 475.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I mean, you got that resistance right there at around 481, 480, 481. And so I think if it holds that level still, you get more confirmation. That way, if it does break over that, you can kind of consider what you're going to do at that point. But
Triple top now.
yeah, Fias. The market's closed tomorrow, brother. And so no trading tomorrow. Kind of bummed out about it, but
Yeah, a little bummed out, but
won't mind a day off, you know.
exactly. There you go. That's what I wanted to see, guys. All right, that looks good now. Kind of a bounce to the nearest resistance and rejection at nearest resistance, putting pressure where, guys? Back down on the bottom side. All right, guys. Now that 82, guys, that 82, just want to hold to that level right there. We don't want no volume accumulation at 480s now. We want the accumulation to come back down on the bottom side, which is 75 to 77s. Let that volume accumulation get back down to that 75s, and then it can curl back down through the support of 475. We see a move back down to those 470s, we'll definitely should see a good breakdown. But overall, a good day, good week so far, man.
Yeah, man. It's been a good week, man. It's been a good month, really, for November, man. I've been happy with it for sure. It's just kind of got to get through the process of scaling up. I've been using 200 shares more often. I think it's a slow process, but it's something that is necessary. I don't use Thinkorswim to trade, Chase, because in order to be able to short on Thinkorswim, you have to be approved for a margin account with over $2,000. And so, you have to be approved for it. It's a lot of stress. And plus, there's the pattern day trading rule. And so, I can only trade 3 times a week, 3 day trades a week if I trade on Thinkorswim, unless I have over 25,000. And so, there's just a few reasons. I'm mostly short, need approval for a margin account to be able to short. And so, it's just kind of, it's just not the best broker for me right now, for me at least. I think I like Thinkorswim. I use them for charts, just don't trade with them. Nah, man, I'm not, I'm not one of, I'm a real estate agent, but it's more along the lines of if I know somebody that wants to buy or sell a house, I do it. I don't really go market myself as a real estate agent much. I'm just busy doing a lot of different things, man. And so I try to base it off of freedom to do whatever I want. If I want to do real estate, I can sell a house. If I want to focus more on my Amazon business, I can do that. If I want to focus more on trading, I can do that. And so it's kind of, it's one of those things. I don't really proactively stress myself out and market myself for a real estate agent, but I usually do a few sales every year. It's not bad, income.
Stock moving on the long side is NETE. NETE.
Yeah, no, I saw NETE pop up in the scanners. This is a crypto stock, right?
Net
blockchain.
Element.
Blockchain. Let me look.
Sure. Blockchain.
Yeah, unit business focused on blockchain. I remember NETE starting to run about a year ago. All right, brother, it's getting a little late, man.
Yep, gonna have to probably wrap it up here if this doesn't break down to the 75s here.
I mean, I don't think it still looks bad. Maybe set a stop and just let it work.
No, one of the good things is no work today. So if I need to let this one work, I'm gonna let this one work, guys.
For sure.
I'm looking at a breakdown right here through the 70s, and then if it does break down through the 70s, I don't mind taking that 67, taking this trade off, and then just going to go enjoy my day. So regardless of what happens here, guys, great first day on the new account. I'm gonna really push on this account, big sizing, 500 shares or more, and try to get those big wins here.
The VWAP is just so high up there for NBEV. That's the only it looks bearish, obviously, but the VWAP is so high up there. Like that's the only thing that not concerning, but makes me question whether it's gonna break down here. If I'm being honest with it, um,
If anything, I think it takes the pressure off the trade. You
right,
just gotta let it work. If it comes down, if it breaks it, it breaks it.
right, for sure. It definitely
That's
looks
when we
bearish.
get our levels. You know,
Hundred
and that's
percent.
why we take our levels. It's just that you can't essentially believe or expect it to get to anywhere. All you can do is just watch.
Right. Just let it
At
play
this
out.
moment, yeah, let it play out. There's other traders that are kind of taking the lead now. All you're kind of in it. You're just in it to win it now. That's it.
Right. You already got enough. You know, if you already got profits, money in the bank, you can just let the rest work.
Mm-hmm.
See if it breaks that low of the day and washes out for you.
Yep. Would not mind taking another $20 off the trade and getting out the day at 85, 80s or something like that. One of the keys is I talk about is maximizing potential profits. Reason being is, let's say on the next trade I go and lose $20. This is where you maximize your gain to cover yourself on future losses and not rush towards profit, then get a loss that kills that profit that you just made.
Yeah, Mitch uses the 9 EMA and the VWAP. I use the VWAP specifically. It's all about what works for you. I just don't like having too many indicators up there. It's really just going to make it too complicated. I think if you have a strategy that works, just use the indicators you
Stick
need
to
for
it.
that strategy.
Yeah, I don't even use a 9 EMA as an indicator anymore. I'm just using it as a short term where I think the stock should hold. Like right now, it's below it, so the pressure's down on the selling side. If it's above it, the pressure's on the buying side. That's kind of what I use it for. It's very short term, doesn't last long.
Right. I think the VWAP is probably my favorite one just because I think it it does a few things. It acts as support and resistance to a certain extent, but it also shows you the trend of the stock, and that's really what I use it for.
Yep. I want this stock back over 477s now. I want this stock to break down through these 70s here.
I might close it down soon, though, brother.
Yep. I understand 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, the trade's already done.
Right. I'm happy though, man. You're letting it work, brother. That's the good thing. But
Yep.
but yeah, guys, I'll probably end up closing it down now. We'll see what happens with this, but I'm sure Mitch will. He's obviously gonna make money on this trade. What are you up now? Let's see your P&L.
All right. Bring it into here. There you go. You guys should be able to see it now.
You're up 65 realized, 12 unrealized. So not too bad, man.
Yeah, not a bad trade. We'll let the rest of it work. And that'll be it for today, guys. Great trading day. We'll be back on Thursday, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thursdays.
So Thursday, we'll see you all then. Good luck for the rest of the day.
Take care, guys.
Historical day trading here, Roberto. Hold on, Eddie. So, what do you mean by that? Do you mean looking back at the history to analyze, or do you mean like using on demand to practice, Eddie? It all depends, brother. Here, message me on Discord, Eddie. We'll talk about it, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, if not, message me.
Right.
I got you.
One of us. Using on demand. Yeah, for sure, man. We can get a practice day. We can get a practice day using.
Probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe we won't have a psychology class tomorrow. We'll have a straight practice day, maybe a little longer than our normal time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down for that. So yeah, we'll work on that, Eddie. All right, guys. Have a good day. We'll see you all later, and good luck for the rest of the day.
Take care, guys.
All right, Netron. Yeah, we'll see you all Thursday. Good luck. Remember, markets close tomorrow, so good luck all. We'll see you all then.